You may have heard the legend of special water springs throughout the United States, and they're called Scout Spirit Springs. And when the water in these springs touches the water of another, you can see if that person has Scout Spirit, or if for a leader, if they have the spirit of Akela. You're watching this video, you're part of scouting here in Montana. I bet you do have the spirit of Akela, but this is the test. And I have water from a spring. There were tracks leading up to this spring, classic Scout Spirit spring. So let's indeed see if you have Scout Spirit. Take a lid off. Do you have the spirit of Akela?
I do.
Indeed, you do. And thank you for being part of Montana Scouting and a leader with Scout Spirit. And what you just saw was the glowing water ceremony. If you've never seen it before, it's such a great ceremony to celebrate with bobcats or special things like leaders who show up for training, which is really terrific. But prepping, it's a little tricky, so I thought you might want to see how that's done. So what you need for this ceremony is you need a glow stick. You probably figured that out, but it's really important to get a glow stick that has clear in it. It's not colored. So you certainly wouldn't want a yellow glow stick, right? You would not want that. And you don't want one red or any other color. It has to be clear. Has to be clear. So the Cockland is the one that we found that works really, really well, and that's the only one that we found that works well. So you need that. You also need a vial that has a dropper with it and has room to put some other liquid. Then you need some baby vials about that size. Then you need a knife, sharp knife, and I also use these needle nose pliers. You're going to see what that's for, and some tape of some kind. I also have a ceremonial kit that I put this stuff in when after I get it done prepping, which I can show you in a minute. But how do we start this whole thing? Well, how you start this whole thing, and this is a glow stick, and inside the glow stick there's a clear, very fragile glass tube that you do not want to break. So what you do is you take a sharp knife and you cut around the top of the glow stick, making sure not to cut that glass tube like that. Now the water that is in around the glass tube is what you put in the small vials. That's the water that goes to the scout or the leader. And there's really no easy way to do this. You just kind of have to put some of it in, and one glow stick will prep 4 or 5 if you really need to. If you really need to stretch it, 4 or 5 vials. So you just do that like that and fill those up. And it's a really good idea to have plastic Ziploc bags when you do this ceremony, so that when after they get done with the ceremony, they have something to put them in. So that's good. Now this is non-toxic, not to say that you'd want them to drink it. So that is something you want to tell the parents and do. So you do that. All right, and then after you get all that liquid out, when you get it all the way out there, you can get the glass tube out. So that glass tube will just slide out and it looks like this. So paper towels are your friends. You want to dry that off so it's not slippery. And then what I do is very carefully, first of all, I put some duct tape around it. It helps when you cut it so that you can pour that liquid into a vial. So I take that duct tape and I get the vial ready that has the dropper. And then you just really carefully, you can use scissors, but I use this little plier set, and snap that very fragile glass top off like that. And then you pour it in your dropper container. Like this. Now you're all ready to go. All you do as you saw in the meeting, is that this water, gets put into this water during the ceremony, and you just want to make sure that you do not touch the eyedropper and contaminate the eyedropper when you're doing the ceremony, or you'll mess it up. I think you know what I mean. But you just have to be careful and keep them separate. Let it drop down in there. So your Cub Scouts will love it. It does take a little work, but ceremonies make memories, and they are an important part of Scouts. So I hope you tried the glowing water ceremony yourself. Thanks for watching.